Hello, my name is Rebecca Durfee, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the risks of an unbalanced market. I was interviewed the other day by a reporter from a local newspaper, and he asked me about the risks of an unbalanced market, and it got me to thinking about a lot of the questions I'm getting right now are about those risks. So I want to share those with you. First of all, we're really happy for our sellers. Fantastic that they're able to make a lot of money on their homes. It's brutal for our buyers. It's a very unbalanced market, not just a little bit. And so with that comes some ramifications, and we want to make sure that we are minimizing risks for buyers and sellers in this market. People are often saying how easy it is. That you can just list your home and it'll sell right away. It's not easy. It's a very tough market to navigate for both sides, sellers and buyers. So just a few things that I'm saying, and I'll try and just rattle these off, but always feel free to call me if you have any questions. The first thing is we're not seeing sellers willing to do many repairs. Not seeing sellers feeling any need. Not a need to do repairs, not a need to even keep the house up like they normally would should they have a more balanced market. And so I would encourage sellers to make sure they are considering repair requests or considering findings and making sure that they are at least thinking about the future and how those might impact them if somebody comes back and says, well, you should have known about this or you should have helped with this. So try and think about how that buyer's feeling and the fact that they are paying the highest they've paid in a long time for a home, and we want them to be happy. We want both sides to be happy and have this be a win-win. We want to turn the home over beautiful. I'm so grateful for awesome sellers. I know they would never leave the home in distress or uncleaned, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure most sellers are that way. We're just seeing a little more of that lack of interest in repairs and cleaning in the last month or so. Also, waiving contingencies. Please be so careful about waiving contingencies. We're seeing a lot of appraisals being waived or a cap on the appraisal waiver. And there's a lot that goes to that. And I just ask that you understand what it is you're doing when you waive a portion or all of the appraisal. Those are important conversations to have with your realtor, or certainly feel free to give me a call. The other thing we're seeing is waiving of inspection period. That to me is probably the most concerning of anything that I'm seeing. We should allow our buyers to do an inspection from a due diligence standpoint, even if they don't ask for anything. That protects the seller as well as the buyer. A seller does not want a buyer to think they're hiding anything, especially when you're not. So please consider how important it is that we not waive the inspection period altogether. I'm receiving offers with the buyer inspection notice attached to that offer saying that we won't even have an inspection period. I actually make sure we counter those in order to protect my seller. So please talk about that. Understand what you're saying when you waive those inspection periods, and maybe don't do that. Even if you don't ask for anything, please don't waive that. And the other thing we're seeing is post-possession. A lot of post-possession lately. I get it. Post-possession is a great thing for a seller to have and can be an incentive for them to take an offer that you might present. I would just be very careful about signing a post-possession agreement versus a lease agreement. If you're going to have a post-possession that's a week, a post-possession agreement should work. But you start getting into a month or 2 months, and you're going to want to have a lease. You become a short-term landlord at that point. Even if there's not compensation or a rental rate between you, you need to have that protection that a lease agreement gives to you and your future buyer or your now current tenant. Agents will know about that. Agents need to understand it as much as you do. So we will share with you everything that we know about post-possession and the ramifications and the importance of a lease agreement. Please sign that. Please make sure you're... And people saying you can have 6 months for post-possession, be very careful about that. I don't ever like those promises. That is very risky territory. So I just would ask you to be leery of assuming that you can have that kind of a post-possession. The other thing I would tell you is just let's make sure that we are trying to make this a positive win-win for everybody. I think it's a tough enough market that we want to have some grace for each other and give each other the benefit of the doubt. We don't want to create stressful relationships between agents and buyers and sellers. It is a tough market. There's a lot to understand. Please ask questions. Please give me a call if you have any questions, or call your realtor. Make sure you understand what we're dealing with. Understand the difficulty of the market and how we want to present offers, how we want to accept offers, and we'll do our best. I will always do my best to protect you and put you first. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Always feel free to comment, like, or subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.